Alright, this is Stalking in the Path. The entity is maintaining amplified audible activity in the hotel. This demon is doing the same thing while I'm documenting Alan St. Victor's in the afternoon. This is the management, gang stalk. Remember, he's walking in engineer light. Engineer light also covers underneath here. I'm showing you my shadow in the shade. He is stalking in the path while the entity is filling my hotel room with amplified audible activity as though helicopter is flying over me while I'm documenting Simba. Okay? P.O.C. The entity is doing so while the entity is keeping the fake sun from sunrise until sunset. The Ontario police are showing the kidnapping that they committed with this same economy in 2020. Gang stalking immigrants are also going to be deported if they're not even natural born citizens, engaging in what is federal group stalking and monitoring as a corrupt company that's monitoring while I'm documenting the criminal monitoring of Simba that was gang stalking in this parking lot while the entity was amplifying noise inside of my hotel room. In an environment where the entity maintains supernatural means of light, engineered light, not sunlight, and the sun doesn't stay over one building for 12 hours. That's where the Ontario police are gang stalking at 3 o'clock this afternoon. And this is where Simba is being documented. And Simba is a gang stalker, not demonstrating Christ's love, contrary to what they put on their website. And as I document that corrupt company, I'm subject to more terrorism that is shared by the corrupt gang stalking economy at 231 South Euclid Avenue. So while that's not coincidental, that's called stalking. Maintaining presence in the path as I open my front door, that's a sex offender that also knows what's going on with my vagina. While the police are engaged in what is flying in circles, that's the audible activity inside of the hotel room. Stepping out. Demons on the opposite side at mobile gang stalking behind there. Gang stalking while maintaining the impossible light activity, and the Ontario Police Department that are gang stalking by flying in circles over the hotel. Okay, this is P.O.C. Oh, and there's the Ontario maintaining aerial surveillance by flying over the sky space. The Ontario Police is the means of audible noise. These are demons that are pacing. He's pacing back and forth while helicopter activity fills my hotel room as Simba is being documented. This is the mental illness of those that are engaged in gang stalking to their own demise. This is what Tracy Banks is criminally cooperating with, gang stalking through a secret conservatorship. The Ontario Police repeatedly kidnapping while the people of the state are gang stalking, and they're monitoring inside of a hotel room, which is a sex offense. And mental illness is exhibited while they're in engineered light under a fake sun, gang stalking by going in and out of hotel rooms, stalking, maintaining presence in the path while the entity is engaged in what is targeting engineered light. They're gang stalking, and so is the Ontario Police Department. Okay, that's P.O.C. While he's engaged in stalking a patron of the hotel, Bob being present in under the fake sun, which is still here. And this is where the Ontario Police is flying in circles over my hotel room, while Simba, who was gang stalking in this parking lot, you'll see it uploaded to the Google Drive, by crossing path just like everybody else under the fake sun. It's over this area of the same hotel at 9 in the morning. The entity's amplifying helicopter activity while Simba is a corrupt, demonic company, speaking of and representing Christ's love, while they're gang stalking as the same demonic entity. And the Ontario Police engages in the pattern of conduct of targeting in the specific environment under the fake sun in concert with the economy while they're engaging in what is monitoring the evidence. And the demon-possessed exhibit mental illness. The fake sun is over me at 9:30 in the morning, right here. The entity is gang stalking at 7 in the morning, 7:16, flying over. You saw them gang stalking 2 hours earlier where the fake sun's over the same property at 3 o'clock, where the Ontario Police Department cannot control what is their criminal engagement and surveillance, and they're proving that they're surveilling you with the people of the state while they are at another venue. This is what they were doing at Starbucks at 706 West Hope Boulevard. This is what they're doing at Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue. This is what they're doing at this is Economy Inn, but they're also doing this at Woodside Senior Apartments, and then engaging what is kidnapping you at those venues as well. This is the Ontario Police that does, again, I want to be clear, I'm specifically documenting Simba, who's under this fake sun at 1:47 p.m. It's 6:07 p.m. The sun is not only not going to be in Monrovia like I'm documenting this time of year. The Monrovia police are gang stalking while the fake sun remains over Town Place Suites by Marriott in Monrovia at Huntington and Myrtle. It's also not going to be over the same property, and this is where it's at. And this is where, based on the criminal conduct that I'm documenting Simba engaging in, and you have the pattern of conduct of flying in circles while the mental illness of those demons who are gang stalking are engaging in that pattern of conduct. This is the entity that's engaging what is monitoring inside of my hotel room, and these are being documented by license plate while they're all walking in engineered light. This is engineered light, the coverage structure for the criminal monitoring purposes of those who are the people of the state with the Ontario Police who are engaging in the sex offense of monitoring me inside of a hotel room. Simba is, they have an office in Victorville, California. They are gang stalking, and they were gang stalking me this afternoon at 1:47 7 where this fake sun was over my head just like it is now, with the Ontario police who arrived in video documenting the pattern of conduct at 3 p.m. and the fake sun is in the same position at 6:07 p.m. That was 3 hours earlier. And this is the criminal pattern of conduct that Simba, in concert with the city of Ontario, are engaging in, the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring. This is again the removal of Paul Leon and Mike Lorenz, the federal imprisonment of the demons that are gang stalking, such as C. Hazelwood. He's going to federal prison. He's engaged in what is surveillance and kidnapping. He's engaged in what is criminal summoning. The entities that's engaged in kidnapping on May 29th with Tracy Banks, that's C. Torres, L. Martinez, that's Nathan Morgan, B. Hook. They're going to federal prison. So is the entity kidnapping while they're engaged in surveillance under the fake sun at Starbucks, which I already documented, where the entity has the fake sun at the same time at this hotel where it's remaining for the duration of the day. The entity is going to federal prison, gang stalking as a corrupt police department, impossible light, while a demon is stalking with the Ontario police. That's the criminal engagement of demons that are monitoring together. They're doing so, I want to be clear, Ontario police is gang stalking. L. Edwards is going to federal prison, so is A. Quesada and Alex Escobar, okay? The entity is engaged in the latest kidnapping committed by what is Owens and C. Hazelwood, which I documented at the DeBoer Professional Building, where the entity is flying in circles over me every night at the DeBoer Professional Building. They're going to federal prison. So is Tracy Banks and Jason Isaac Fields, and the people of the state that engage in gang stalking with them. Stalking with impossible light is 9BCU 587, and it's intentional under a fake sun that's present for the criminal purposes of stalkers that are demon-possessed, sharing in that pattern of conduct. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is exhibiting severe mental illness of the demons that are monitoring evidence, and this is going against the corrupt criminal conduct of Simba, that's gang stalking with the city of Ontario. All right, and as I document Simba is threatening my life while the Ontario Police Department amplifies helicopter activity, and an employee is stalking in the parking lot by having perfect presence as I open that front door under the enduring fake sun while they are monitoring what I'm publishing on the video of the internet. And these are sex offenders that fill all 45 rooms of the hotel where the Ontario Police Department provides evidence against the people of the state that are gang stalking. This is the entity that engaged in kidnapping with the intent to criminally defame, and they're going to federal prison. So is Tracy Banks, that relied on the criminal defamatory acts of the Ontario police who committed kidnappings while I've been documenting their criminal surveillance with the people of the state. Okay, this is the P.O.C. The entity is engaged in this pattern of conduct with management. KKB 998 engaged in kidnapping with the Ontario police on September 25th, 2020, and Simba's engaging in that criminal pattern of conduct, not the legitimate not the legitimate and Christ-centered service provision of housing. They're engaging in the demonic pattern of conduct with the Ontario police, who threaten and harass and terrorize with the demons, who are all monitoring the images of gang stalking by Simba today under the 1:47 p.m. fake sun. Mike Lorenz's criminal engagement in targeting you is going to be the evidence of what is incriminating the people of the state, like the corrupt company Simba, okay? Simba Group. Simba's engaged in federal group stalking monitoring under Title 18, all right? And they were engaged in a sex offense, as I documented them today at 6:11 p.m. at 2301 South Euclid Avenue. This is a domestic terrorist. Opening the door does not create light on the building. That's gang stalking. Doing so with the Ontario police, that's flying in circles over the by helicopter over the venue. That's a method of stalking with light. This is what they're doing while they're walking by my hotel room and their shadow moves across the floor on the inside in impossible light activity. That's again 9BCU 587, gang stalking with the management. Gang stalking under the fake sun, gang stalking while they're engaged in what is monitoring evidence. This is speaking to what is demonic. It's not sunlight, neither is this the sun. Remember, it's remaining over in Monrovia, California. Alan San Victor's is gang stalking by the Monrovia Police Department as the entity kept the fake sun. All right, and this is what the tactics of the mentally ill that are engaged in fully exposed as corrupt, while they're gang stalking as patrons at a corrupt business. This is the economy in. They're doing so while they're inside of their hotel room sharing criminal monitoring on communication devices. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is the disbanding of the Ontario Police Department. Like I stated, that's the manager that's clocking in and out just like they are from the dumpster crossing. And this is the entity that has the fake sun over the same hotel, all right, that it is in the morning. And they're gang stalking as patrons, the people of the state, gang stalking as management, as the people of the state, and they're doing so with the Ontario police. This is where the entity is gang stalking with commercial planes as well. All right, this is P.O.C. and it's currently, I want you to see, this is the entity that is engaged in criminal surveillance by patronage at a corrupt venue. And Simba, documentation of the gang stalker Simba, the domestic terrorist, the sex offender Simba, is what is inspiring the criminal pattern of conduct of stalking with a helicopter, which is again an outdated method of the demons that think that they will stop a prosecution, and it's going to accelerate that. This is putting Jason Isaac Fields in federal prison. This is what the entity does in order to substantiate what is manufactured means of mental illness. You're not mentally ill when the entity is gang stalking you. This is what Tracy Banks relied on while the entity is defaming in court and relying on criminal conduct that the entity committed against me, such as kidnapping from venues like this, where you're documenting it and enforcing your rights, and then defaming your character in those corrupt courts, where they're trying to steal through the government that's gang stalking you by trying to steal your property through things such as secret conservatorships that this gang stalking entity is utilizing while they're simultaneously targeting as a whole corrupt operation. Remember, the Ontario Police Department just participated in the demonic pacing by flying in circles over my room. All right, but this is ongoing pacing, and doing so with a bunch of demons who are psychopaths stalking you in the way in which mental illness, you're witnessing it while they're stalking with light, stalking under a fake sun, stalking as a population that wants to maintain the mask of being strangers, and they're not strangers in that environment, and they're also very much aggressive and hostile while you document. Corrupt actors like Simba. This is P.O.C. It's currently 6:14 p.m. This is the same evidence that's going to put the people of the state in federal prison that are engaging in criminal defamation and criminal summoning and kidnapping, just like at this venue. Okay, that's the pattern of conduct. 6:14 at 2301 South Euclid Avenue, P.O.C.